Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah, alhamdulillah. Before I continue with part two on this subject, I'm gonna I'm gonna throw in a little interjection here, and I'm not gonna say why it came to mind. Actually, I had to take a restroom break, but I've been talking about the difference between the lives of converts and the lives of our Arab and Desi brothers and sisters. The difference between the masaajid that you have and the masaajid that we need to be able to live. And I started this last session talking about, okay, like these are different, we're in different realities, okay? And these discussions are trying to bridge that, all right? In a previous session, I talked about giving advice, okay, in Islam. Muslims love giving advice. Why? Because honestly, it's the easiest thing that you can do. You know, I don't want to start this subject again, but you need to learn from Imam an-Nawawi, rahmatullahi alayh, what nasiha means. Okay, it doesn't mean just giving advice out of your mouth. Okay, but in that session, I said that the imams, the early imams of the ummah, okay, would not give people advice and would not decide on matters until they knew and had a clear understanding of the situation and the person and their capacity and so forth. But there's another thing, and it just popped into my head, that in one of the fiqh books that I have, I read this years ago, and that's why it hadn't even come in mind, but really it's relevant, was saying that in giving the adab and the ahkam, okay, the proprieties of a judge or a mufti who is examining a case and going to make a decision, okay, that among those, okay, they should not be in any mental or emotional distress by by some personal situation. They should not be hungry, okay? They should eat before getting into the case. And they should not be needing to use the restroom, okay? And the reasons are that their obligation in examining a case and coming to a right conclusion, they need to be taking the time and not be distracted by a hungry stomach or a personal problem at home or, even needing to go to the restroom. So, continuing then on this subject, that why the things that Arabs and Desis are used to doing and the way they're used to doing things, okay, it doesn't work for converts, and it's harmful, dangerous, destructive, traumatic for converts, okay? Which is why I've said that the solutions that we have to have, they have to be funded for converts, the experienced converts, to work on building the solutions and doing things full time, okay? Because it's only converts who understand our situation, and it's only converts who will do things the way that we need them to be done. I've known Arabs and Desis for 30 years. Just believe me, 1,000%, You can't do it, okay? Now, I was talking about what, when we became Muslims, we needed Islam. That's not what we found. We needed Muslims who know their deen and do their deen, and that's not what we found, okay? We needed, since you came to a land of dawah, your people came to a land of dawah, it would have been great if any of you had known what that means. And until today, you don't, okay? But at least someone should have had the brains to investigate. Okay, the mission of dawah. Well, since I actually know Islam, I know that that's the most important thing in the deen. And I know that I'm living in a land of dawah. Okay, put two and two together. Most important thing in Islam. And here I am living in a land of dawah. And I am a responsible Muslim. I am a responsible imam. That means what I should do is use my brain, get off my ass, and go find out how the converts are doing. Wallahi, if any Muslim had done this in the last 60 years, your community would not have lost 90% of the converts, and we would not have had our lives destroyed. Because at least at some point you would have started figuring things out. Ya Allah, until now you haven't even begun. And I had, this was several years ago, ISNA, 55 years ignoring the mission, okay? Now I know that they've had some sessions, but usually they're just on like little specific subjects. There has never been any serious investigation covering this issue. As far as I know, I am the first and the only, at least, to do like a comprehensive study and presentation and writing and the development of the right program, okay, on this subject, okay? I wish I wasn't. I wish this country was full of imams who already knew what they're doing, and ya Allah, until today, none of them don't. And here we are, we've had our lives destroyed. Okay? So what I was talking about here is history. At least for myself, I'm going to talk about my personal experience, okay? That because nobody ever really looked into it, and because, honestly, Arabs and Desis have the quality of really not listening, they never investigated to find out what was going on. That proactive approach would have been great, but at least they could have listened when we come walking in. They don't even do that. But they just went on with their lives just assuming that, well, we should be doing fine because they don't understand that we're not in the same situation they're in, okay? And so then if we're complaining about serious problems, a lot of them will just assume that, well, it seems like you made a problem for yourself, okay? Muslims always like the easiest excuse, and converts have been insulted and traumatized by this kind of behavior, okay? So so many times the assumption is there, yeah, it's convert, you have a problem, it's your fault. Yeah. We Arabs, we don't do things wrong. We're doing right. We're doing Islam. We Desis, see, we know what we're doing here. If you have a problem, it's, you're just not doing things right. Like I was talking about the other night, it's because you don't have yaqeen and tawakkul, okay? And I'm going to cuss, I'm sorry. Every convert is tired of that bullshit, okay? Your community, your people arrived not knowing Islam. Every convert knows that. Okay, I've known your people 33 years. Okay, and until now, okay, you're jacked up. Okay, and it is laziness. Okay, Arab and Desi men in particular are lazy, lazy, and especially when it comes to Islam. Mentally lazy, physically lazy. They just want the easiest thing that, first idea pops in my head, and if it doesn't cost me anything and I can get it out in 30 seconds, then I can get done with this. Okay? Sorry, it doesn't work. And so it's just another one of those things that they've used as a weapon against converts. Okay? And so I've had sessions where I've talked about abuse, insult, trauma, control, okay, and very serious cases of crime, dozens of converts murdered. That's not the subject here. But converts have suffered from the laziness and stupidity of Muslims at the least. But yes, they also tend to be abusive. Okay. In some sessions, I covered Maslow's hierarchy, Maslow's model of a normal, stable, happy human life. Okay? And that's what I had and any convert had before we became Muslims. After we became Muslims, okay, we lost the social relations that human beings have to have. And we needed your people to be doing Islam. You weren't. And you still don't. Okay? And so if you were looking at Maslow's model for the life of the convert, you would see so many missing pieces. And that's why converts have been in pain, loss, destruction, psychological, depression, anxiety, identity problems. And when we've had enough of that, yes, like any normal human being, we're going to blow up. We're going to cuss at your people. We're going to cuss at your masaajid. We're going to cuss at your imams. Okay? It's normal. Okay? Converts come from an organized and scientific society. Okay, this is another part of the huge disparity between converts and at least most of the heritage Muslims. Okay, because I want to see. I think later I mentioned, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Okay, I mentioned this in one of the sessions. Okay, when the Muslim world basically fell apart. All right, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala gave rise to other societies, other civilizations. Now, if you look at the statistics, okay, the average per capita education of the Muslim world is only 5.6 years. Okay, the average per capita education in the United States and European countries is 13 or more. Okay, that means that throughout the Muslim world, Muslims only have 40% of the education that we have. Okay? Myself, I have over 30 years of education. I mean, 30 years not learning, 30 years of education. Okay? So, the way that Arabs and Desis would do things, okay, it's not going to work for converts. Okay? We need things done right. And like I said, I've been in the Muslim world. Okay, the things are broken and chaotic. And I mean, we have in the U.S., for any agency that they would have in the Middle East, we have 1,000 agencies. Okay, I'm talking about categories of agencies. Okay, but there you walk in and you just expect that it's not going to be done right. Okay, and in the Muslim world, to get something done right, you either have to bribe somebody or you have to know somebody who's going to do you a favor. Okay, it's just, okay, it's a disaster. Okay. Our way of doing things here is structured and methodical. Okay. That's why it has to be converts who organize, direct, work on, and build the solutions. What we need from the Arabs and Desis funding, that's it. Okay? Converts know what we're doing, and we're the only people that will know how to solve our problems. Okay? But we have to have serious funding, like the Medina Network. It's $1 million a year from DFW. Okay? Sounds like, wow, that's so much money. It's not. In DFW, there are over 200,000 Muslims. There are at least 50,000 adult Muslims. If each adult Muslim in DFW gave $20, a $20 bill a year, a $20 bill an entire year, that's the $1 million that converts need. Okay, it's not, unimaginable or impossible. No, it's not. It's just that your community is disorganized and you haven't committed the resources where they should be. Now you've got people sucking money out of the community to send to 1,000 different causes, and you've bankrupted the most important thing in Islam and destroyed the lives of converts. Okay? And if you're going to keep doing this, Allah is already preparing to wipe you off the earth. Okay? This is from the presentation I had I think it was 2015, and it's just like I'm just demonstrating the structured, methodical approach that I'm talking about, because at that point I had already done 2 years prior, really an exhaustive study on what was going on with other converts, and had gone through scientific process, factual process, organized process, and made, as far as I know, the best presentation that's ever been made on the subject. Okay? And here I'm still giving the same message. The real meaning of convert support. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. We need the real Islam. Convert support doesn't mean a little convert support group, and it doesn't mean a convert picnic, and it doesn't mean we need to educate the converts. No, that's an idea that you can throw in the trash. Okay? We know what real support is. That's what I've been talking about here. And I even had a session, I discussed the fiqh and sunnah of problem solving, because the vast majority of Muslims don't even know what problem solving means. Okay, again, about the differences in education. Okay, growing up in the Muslim